So I'm laying here just kind of letting my body regroup and kind of cool down a bit. I don't know if you can see like the light sheen, the gleam, the glisten of sweat, but I was just kind of laying here thinking, like, what is it besides the obvious, which is pain, that makes people so, I guess, just afraid of doing something that maybe their body tells them they can and or should do, or that okay, I'm on 22 milligrams right now, and I get a sense of anxiety about going down and detoxing, because there are things that you know and there are things that you experience. Okay, there are things that you know because it's logical. It's logical to know that if you have an opiate in your system like methadone, it has a half-life, so it's in your system for like 72 hours and it goes out, and it's logical to think about it in a scientific way, of that the withdrawal is actually your body pushing out the rest of the drug. So we know that, but what we don't know is how we will be able to basically survive, like basically be without it. Like how painful is that road between the last dose and the first day of being not in pain, and how much pain will it be and how long will it last. And we all know from experience that it's different for everyone. I remember I had an associate that I met actually in at acupuncture, like kind of chronic pain acupuncture. So I met her, and long story short, she was a cancer survivor, and she was getting like Dilaudid and some other things, as well as like oxycodone. And her first signs of like withdrawal, which is separate from when the medicine is going out your system, and the reason why you were prescribed the medicine in the first place, starts to happen. This was different. So anyway, when she started to feel that withdrawal feeling, she would immediately start talking about she smelled burnt toast. Like it was like a thing that she didn't even realize, but she would get like this super perception of smell, and she'd be like, oh, I smell burnt toast. And then there was another girl who she would get like intense headaches, and then me, on the other hand, I start getting like stomach cramps and backaches. So for everyone, each phase is different, and we know that. So I guess fear can be irrational. So what I intend to do is sit down and kind of journal to myself, what is it exactly that I'm scared of? I mean, the behaviors of me abusing medication, I am not at that point in my life right now. So that's separate from the physical addiction and or dependency. That's another thing. I think that there's a difference between being dependent on a medication and addicted to a medication. Excuse me, wow. Like, I think of it like as if a person uses a crutch, they are dependent on that crutch. However, they're not addicted to that crutch, because in a situation where they don't have that crutch, they won't have any additional pain or distress from not having the crutch, because they're dependent on it. But if they were addicted to it, they would have other problems I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but so there's that. I mean, like, okay, or like a person can be dependent on like heart medication, but not addicted to it. So right now I'm just totally rambling. I am just, my thoughts are all over the place right now. I would like for people that are going through this as well as me, with me, or that plan to do it in the near future, or that have recently done it, to ask me questions in the comments, and I'm open to advice, and maybe we can kind of figure out what we as a community can do, because seriously, we are a community within ourselves, like kind of like, any other community. I'm not going to put any labels, but and we are like a forgotten community as well. I mean, just think about it. It's not, there is no age group for addiction to opiates. There's no, I mean, there are young kids that are given opiates as well. There are old people. So when I decided that this was something that I wanted to do, there was really no information out there for me. I mean, yes, there was. I'm yelling because I'm getting excited, because I'm very passionate about this. But there wasn't. I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm not high. I'm not sleeping. It just feels so much better. When I decided to do this and I went to research like I do with anything else, there was really no information out there. And the information that was out there, that is out there, is outdated. Like maybe 2009, I found some stuff in 2006, and it's not really from the standpoint of the patient, or the user. It was just basically book stuff, basically the stuff that they tell everyone, so that was very discouraging, because that's a part of fear, is the unknown. We fear the unknown. So there are so many people, like I see on the news, there's an epidemic in America, there's an epidemic, opiates, but if this is known, then get information out there to people. I mean, fuck. So fear. A part of it is fear. Also, there's a stigma to just the word addiction, which I don't know, but I guess that also we as a community should also not be so concerned with that stigma. Like, shit, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you got on methadone because you were shooting heroin in your fucking tongue, or if you got on methadone because you were a prostitute that your pimp refused to buy it. It doesn't matter. Or if you got on methadone because you were a cancer survivor and you were given morphine and you liked it and you were depressed and it felt good. It doesn't matter how we got here. Or does it? Or is that a part of... No. On the outside, it doesn't really matter how we got here to a point. What matters is that now that we are here and we are wanting to stop, how do we do it? So I'm going to actually sit down at some point. Maybe I'll sit down and do a video and like go through it, or I'm not sure. I'm not even sure what exactly my plan is as far as making these videos. I would like to post them. I don't know, maybe I won't post them. Maybe I'll just save them all up as like a kind of journal for myself. one last thing that's kind of personal, but not, because I think that everyone could use a therapist. But anyway, my therapist actually texted me this week and told me that she would no longer be my therapist. It has been so hard in my journey to find someone that I can trust, and actually that has helped me. I've been seeing her basically every week for almost 3 years, so it's a thing, it's a habit. And she told me this, like, I actually missed 2 appointments because of me trying to wean myself off. I'm getting so hot right now. My freaking heart is beating so hard, and I don't know if you could see, I'm starting to really sweat. But I don't want any of these videos to be longer than like 10 minutes, and I'm just rambling, so I am going to lay here for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to get back up because my legs are jumping. And again, like I said, I'm just clammy. And yeah, so there.